Welcome to Stories Worth Hearing. I'm your host, John Quick. Today's guest is someone who has helped redefine what luxury living looks like in Miami. Gil Dezer is not only a visionary developer, but also the steward of a family legacy that began in New York, where his father, Michael Dezer, built his very first development and laid the foundation for what would become one of the most recognized names in real estate. Gil took that foundation and scaled it to an entirely new level. From his close friendship and partnership with President Donald Trump that produced the iconic Trump Towers in Sunny Isles Beach, to creating some of the boldest, most talked about projects in Miami, he has continually pushed the boundaries of what's possible. And now, Gil is doing it again with the world's first Bentley Residences, a tower that blends luxury, technology, and lifestyle in a way no one has seen before. It's a story of vision, risk-taking, and family legacy, and it's one you won't want to miss.
Well, Gil, welcome to the show. I'm super excited you're on today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, this will be fun to kind of talk about what you and your family has done in Miami. It's pretty exciting, and back in New York as well. You were one of the first companies and folks to bring big car brands into the luxury condominium space. Talk to me about what that first looked like when you came up with that idea. Where did that come up? How did you come up with something like that?
Well, it grew from us doing the Trump branded buildings. We started in 2001, working with Donald Trump. We did 6 buildings with him. And by 2007, 2008, when the crisis came, fortunately, we were able to sell out our buildings and pay off our loans. But we started saying, okay, we did 6 buildings with Trump. We're looking for the next thing. And the guys from Porsche were snooping around and they approached us and they said, hey, we'd like to see the ideas of doing a building with you guys. And when we sat there in a room and said, well, what does Porsche really have to do with real estate? And so we came up with, hey, let's make the building about the car lover and create this Deservator patented elevator system that takes you in your car up to your unit. And so that was the main hook of that building, and it sold out record sales, and it's been a home run success and one of the most talked about buildings in the entire world. So it worked out. We that's where we said, how does car branding really incorporate with real estate? And I think we've made the perfect marriage.
Yeah, it's pretty cool and interesting to see. Take me back to maybe, I think your father developed in the Chelsea Heights neighborhood. He turned warehouses into livable spaces and was very successful early on with that. What were some of the lessons that you learned from him to then take the whole business to the next level down in Miami?
I mean, just simple as negotiation. I mean, my father, he was a loft converter in New York. So he has commercial spaces that he would create into live work. The buildings he did he did a lot of buildings, I think 11 buildings in Manhattan. But they were all 10-story conversion, 11-story conversion buildings. So he would identify a building that had windows on 3 sides and he'd buy it and fix the elevators and air conditioners and heating, et cetera, and then sell off the floors unit by unit, one by one. So what he was doing was a little bit different than we did. My first project was 400 individual apartments for sale.
Yeah.
So, I think in his 11 buildings, he sold maybe 120 different units. So it was a little bit different. We started together in Miami back when I was 24 years old. So we're talking 26 years ago now. And that's when we started before Trump. We conceived the project, and then Trump got involved, and that's all she wrote. It was all history, all successes from there.
What do you think separates the entrepreneur or person that maybe tries, fails, and gives up from somebody like yourself who just keeps at it day after day and is relentless? Is it something that's in you, like that keeps you going? I mean, it's a very far and few between folks that have experienced the level of success that you have. What do you think separates you from the others?
The real answer is failure. Failure is not an option. It's not an option. There's no other way. You have to win, and you have to keep on playing and get your head bashed in as many times as you need to until you finish. I mean, I'll never forget, I survived the 2007, 2008 crisis. I woke up in the morning. We had a building, the Trump Royale, was 384 units, and we send out closing notices on a Monday morning. And that Thursday, Lehman Brothers collapsed. And so imagine, from 384 sold units, nobody closed. But we sat there. We said failure is not an option, and we buckled down. And I had that building. I had several other buildings. In 2008, I owed $475 million to the lenders.
Wow.
And I had all these buildings sold out. Nobody closed. It was a fucking disaster. But we sat there. We worked the problem. We worked the problem daily. And by 2011, I paid back every single penny of $475 million plus interest. to the lenders. And I was really in Miami. I was the only person who paid back all those loans. Everybody else had either a deed in a box or they lost the building to the banks. I was the only person who paid back all the money owed, and that really paved the way for us to start building again. I mean, in 2012, we got the loan for the Porsche Design Tower, and that was the first loan in Miami post-crisis. And so we were the first ones in the gate and first ones out of the gate too. So we finished in a great market. After that, I did the Armani Casa with Giorgio Armani, and we have several other projects that are going on right now. I'm partners in the Baccarat project downtown. We're doing a Viceroy downtown. I'm partners in a project in Hillsborough, which is with Rosewood, and of course, my main focus is the Bentley Towers. Where
Yeah.
we're doubling down on the Porsche concept. The Porsche was really such a home run success, but we did make some architectural not mistakes, but things that could be better. So, such as I was the first person to put swimming pools on every single balcony, and
Dang, that's a lot of swimming pools.
That's a lot of swimming pools. And we wanted the romance of you drive your car into the elevator, and as you arrive home, you see the swimming pool and the ocean beyond. And it was a cool kind of idea, but it wasn't the best, execution, if you will. So now we doubled down on that in Bentley. We made it even better. Now you arrive up on your elevator and your foyer, and you have your swimming pool sunken with the ocean behind. It's a wow shot for anybody. Any of your guests who are going to come to your house is going to be amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bentley for a second. It's like the epitome of luxury living as it relates to Miami, and Miami is one of the most luxury international places to live in the United States. The United States is the best country in the world, in my opinion. I mean, it's like top dollar, top notch. Talk to me a little bit about the concept for folks that don't know what we're talking about. Tell me a little bit about what the Bentley looks like, feels like, acts like.
Well, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's a 62-story building with 216 units. We are branding it with Bentley, and I wish maybe you can show a graphic here when you post this. But
Yep.
we actually I have a new window system that I actually went and got NOA approved for the hurricanes and everything which is a diamond faceted window system. So it's not flat glass; it's actually faceted diamonds, because that's one of the Bentley things that they do with their cars. They have these faceted diamonds everywhere. And so we are actually faceting the diamonds all throughout the building. So you're going to be able to see this building from anywhere in Miami. It's going to be like a lighthouse. That's on the exterior of the building. The units themselves are 5,500, 6,000 square feet. We have tremendous outdoor balconies with swimming pools. And of course, we have my patented Deservator car lift system that takes you and your car up to your apartment. We have 3 and 4 spaces next to each one of these units, depending on oceanfront or intracoastal. Intracoastal has 3 spaces, oceanfront has 4. The building itself is run like a hotel. The only difference is there's no transient guests. And what I mean by that is we have a restaurant, we have a spa, we have a dog spa, we have a kids club, we have a golf simulator, we have racing simulators, we have an indoor-outdoor gym. Of course, then we have the spa itself with the treatment rooms and wet areas, hammam, etc. So it's everything you found. We threw everything at this, including the restaurant we have downstairs is being run by Todd English, 3-time James Beard Award-winning chef. So he's no joke. And that really matches up properly with our client base, because that's exactly what they're looking for. I mean, in Miami, that's one of the things people love to do is go out to dinner. So imagine having that right there in your own house. You don't have to go anywhere. You're right downstairs. So
That's cool.
It's really cool. I think that's one of the huge amenities of the building, because nobody else has anything like that. A restaurant with a famous chef like this that's not even open to the public. Nobody has anything like that. So
that's pretty cool. Why do you think the international crowd and buyers are drawn to Miami? It seems like it's the hot spot for international wealthy folks.
Well, the internationals love buying in Miami because, especially pre-construction, because of the payment plan. We don't sell the apartment in one shot. You pay 10% now, 10% later. They give a total of 50% deposit before close. So, and they can do that over the course of the 4 years of the construction. So they love that concept of really, moving the money back to America and into America rather, and being able to afford these things over time. And of course, they close with mortgages that they can't get in their countries at the rates that we have. And so that's one main reason. Of course, Miami itself is the capital of South America. So, that's the other main reason. So we get our slice of all the different South American countries that are buying throughout Miami come by us.
How's Miami changed since you first stepped foot with your first project in there? Does it look quite a bit different from what it did when you first started? Has the city of Miami made the process easier for folks like you since you've got there?
Well, actually, the process is getting a little bit more difficult, the process itself, but the city itself has grown tremendously. I remember my first project that I did with Trump. We had the Trump International Hotel next to two Trump condos, the Trump Palace and Trump Royale. I wanted, in Miami at the time, you couldn't get, like in New York City, you can call a bodega at 3 o'clock in the morning and get a pack of cigarettes or a bottle of milk or whatever else you need at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that wasn't available here in Miami until, of course, the invention of Uber Eats. That changed everything. But until that point, one of the services that we were providing to the condos was you had everything available from the hotel 24 hours a day. You just call and they can service the hotel, the residences rather. And so that was one of the first concepts of anybody really doing that and giving that 24-hour lifestyle and full service within your condominium and having all those services but not paying for them because they're adjacent in an operating hotel that they just walk through downstairs and connect to the building. One of those are the kinds of things that we brought to Miami until it became its own city. Now, like I said, Uber Eats, you're on the phone, you can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it did change. But as far as the restaurants, entertainment, I mean, Miami's grown. When I started, it was a little pueblo, and now it's a real big city. It's a real big city.
Do you have any fun projects on the horizon, or is Bentley going to be the thing you're focused on for a while?
I mean, we're doing the foundation pour in about a month. So, and then from there we're going vertical. So it's got my full attention, Bentley. We have other projects we're working on. We're working on Icon Beach as well, which is a project up in Hollywood, and the other ones that I mentioned. And we have something else that we just bought, a piece of property that was in the press, but we can't say what we're doing there yet. But oceanfront high-rise condominiums as well.
Nice. What's
Yes.
when you start a big project like Bentley, what are some of the first things that you do as the lead developer, guy in charge? Everybody knows you as leading it. What are some of the first things you do when you try to tackle a project like that?
What I think I pride myself on, and I do better than anybody else with respect to this branding, is I really match the branding to the customer. And we don't just slap the name on the building. Like I told you, we're doing diamond windows on the outside of the building. Bentley has a thing called touch points on their cars. Every door handle, every knob you turn has this Bentley knurling on it. We're doing that in all the touch points inside the apartments. So what we really wanted to do is match the product to the customer, somebody who understands the Bentley quality, Bentley finishes, and that is their customer is our customer. And even if you don't own a Bentley, it's still, you're in the same range of understanding. And so we really throw everything we can at it and really understand what the customer is looking for and then hit it. I mean, and then even beyond. I mean, I threw some things in these units. I have outdoor showers. Again, never been done before in Miami. But yet you go to every great hotel in Maldives and here and there, and it's there. So why don't people have it in their own homes? We're doing saunas in every single bathroom. We have heated floors in the bathroom. People say, who needs heated floors in Miami? It's so hot. I say, it's hot, but you don't realize the air conditioning is running. The marble gets cold. You get out of a hot shower, you're on a cold floor. It sucks. So we put heated floors. Nobody else has done that stuff. So when I say we threw everything at it, we went for the best construction specification possible and that we put into the building. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, buyers are really appreciating it.
Who's somebody that maybe you've looked up to along the years that inspires you and gives you inspiration?
Well, why? I mean, my first was Donald Trump, of course, and getting to partner with him and work with him for 8 years on these buildings, and we became great friends. Yeah, it was amazing for me. It was an amazing experience, and it really taught me a lot about the world. And built up a little confidence in order for me to kind of handle everything else,
Give us a Donald Trump story, if you will. You and Donald, maybe that, the folks listening in will get a tickle out of.
A Donald Trump story. I got a few. I got a few.
Probably got a few you can't tell, maybe.
I know. They're all pretty. I mean, one of them we were at his. One of the funny ones. We were at his golf course, and the LPGA was playing. And this guy, this was like 10 years ago, and this guy has energy like nobody else you've ever seen. I'm chasing him around the golf course. He's running hole to hole, no golf carts or anything like that. The LPGA is actually playing, and and I'm walking with him, trying to keep up. The guy walks 100 miles an hour, and one of the things he always does, if you ever met him, he pats you on the back. He's a big dude, right? So he gives you a hard hit, when he pats you on the back. So we're sitting there, and literally, like, I would say 7 feet away from the woman who's about to swing, he hits me on the back. He goes, "Who gets you the best seats in the house?" And I have to tell her, she's swinging. But that was one of the funny stories. We have plenty of others. I've been to Miss Universe with him. I've been on the Trump jet with him several times. He was at my wedding. I was at his wedding to
That's
Melania.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we know each other very well. Yeah.
Is he? I'm a big fan of Trump. A lot of folks that are going to be listening in are big fans of Trump. How do you think he's doing? Do you think he's bringing a business perspective to the president's office? I mean, I think he's doing an awesome job personally.
He's bringing common sense back, right? That's
Yeah.
this country got so off the rails, so far off the rails that he's just bringing back what needed to happen. I mean, it's nothing's miraculous. It's all logic, and he's making it happen, and he's actually making it happen. That's usually the hard part to do in DC, is actually have an idea and translate it and make it really work. And that's where he's winning. He's actually speaking what he does, and he actually accomplishes it. So I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Is it harder for somebody like yourself and other folks to get big projects done when you have a Joe Biden in office compared to a Trump, or does it not affect it?
It definitely affects it. It definitely affects it. I mean, I don't want to mention who or where, but there were some government agencies that as soon as Trump came into office, all of a sudden they woke up and started working. I mean, government agencies where we were asking for things that were taking years to get done. And then all of a sudden Trump comes into office, and I think when they started saying, hey, send an email to show you're working or what you did this week.
Yeah. What'd you do this last week?
What'd you do this last week? I think they all got a little panicked, and they started working, they started actually doing something. So things literally that I was waiting for years were all of a sudden approved within months of him getting into office. So, yeah, it's like any business. The owner of the company is the face, and he sets the pace and the tone for the rest of the employees. If you were working on the Biden pace and Biden tone, you just didn't give a shit. You just sat there and were, waiting for 5 o'clock to check out and go home. But this is now a can-do mentality, and this is what's going on. It's really working.
A lot of folks say don't do business with family. You all have kind of a family business, or you've worked with your father before. What's that been like, kind of having a big, huge business in the spotlight? Everybody knows your name, and, doing it with family.
You have to meet my father in order to understand that. He is really an amazing guy. Really, really an amazing guy. Like, there's no words for this guy. You talk to him, everybody falls in love with him the minute they talk to him, just because he's always with a smile and a joke and something intelligent to say. And at the same time, we started our first project before we got Trump involved. We started with some partners from outside, because my father had never built a building before. And he was, like I said, he was buying buildings in Manhattan, renovating them, but never actual ground up construction. So we were doing this together. And we took partners that were experienced builders, that they'd built several different beautiful projects. And we started a project with them, and it wasn't going well. It wasn't selling well. It wasn't selling fast enough. Costs were coming in too high. And my father and them got into an argument. And I remember this. I was 24 years old. And they got into an argument. And the result of the argument was they said, buy me out. And my father said, okay, I'm going to buy you out. And here I am, 24 years old. That's the first time I had a cigarette in front of my father.
You're like, crap, I need a cigarette for this one.
I said, well, shit. I said, Dad, we don't know what we're doing. What are we doing? And this is what he said to me. He had a very solid vote of confidence in me. He said, you're smarter than all those 3 guys in the room. We'll figure it out. And he said that to me. And I was like, okay, if my dad believes in me, then nothing to lose here. Right. And so he's not a hands-on kind of guy. He's a very big picture guy, which sometimes is bad because you got to get him to focus on the details, which he doesn't care too much about, but he's a super big picture kind of guy. And so, that's where I got into the details and literally cut my teeth and built a building. The first time I built the hotel, which was a Trump International Hotel. And so, it was 372 keys, and we still run it till today. And then, of course, the buildings after.
So do you think this is what you'll be doing until, 40 years from now? Or is there something else that you'd like to tackle and accomplish that doesn't have anything to do with real estate?
Other stuff. I've tackled other stuff, but not with the fervor of what I do in real estate, just because I just don't have the time. I created some apps that didn't really go anywhere. So I've done other stuff, but real estate is what I know. I know how to build. I mean, as a matter of fact, we built so many buildings in the way that it became so easy that I started, upping my own game by adding the car elevators and swimming pools on the balconies and making it more difficult, for the competition. I understand construction. I understand design, and I understand how to design something that can be built efficiently. And also we look at things in a different way. I mean, I don't know if you understand the whole idea behind this car lift system. Do you know about why we put the car elevators in there or no?
Tell me about it.
Okay. Well, in real estate, every site, every piece of property has a certain amount of square footage that you're allowed to build on it. So in the case of Porsche Design, we were allowed to build 500,000 square feet. And they require you to give 1.7 parking spaces per unit. But because they require you, that goes in and above that 500,000 square feet you're allowed. So I built another, in the case of Bentley, we're building a 600,000 square foot building, but I'm building another 300,000 square foot of parking that I'm selling. So I'm getting a 50% higher utility on my sales because I'm incorporating the garage into the unit. And that's the reason why we're spending $85 million on an elevator system, is because
Nice.
300,000 square feet, do the math, $1,500 a foot, we're bringing in $450 million in additional revenue that the neighbor doesn't have, because I found a way to sell the garage and at the same price per square foot as the unit. So that's the secret sauce, the formula that makes a lot of sense here. And that's why we love these car elevators, because to the extent the buyer sees the value, it's an easy sell and we make more money.
If somebody's interested in, purchasing a unit from Bentley, is pre-sale open? Tell me about when that all hits, and we'll put all the links in the podcast description, but how could somebody get in touch with your guys' company if they're interested in getting a unit?
BentleyResidences.com or 305 Bentley is the phone number. You're able to secure that one, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And we have a sales office. We have a sales office right on the ocean with a model unit. You can actually come in, see the apartment, walk through the bedrooms, walk through the whole spaces. You can see how the cars communicate with the apartment. So for me, it was very important to build a full-scale model unit. My competitors are afraid to show what you're actually getting. So they show you a kitchen and a bathroom and a cot on the back. We show the actual apartment so everybody understands exactly what they're receiving. And that's there, right on the beach, 183rd and Collins.
Nice. We'll put all that information in the podcast description. I appreciate you coming on, Gil. You have any last-minute thoughts before we head out?
No, I love your show. It was great interview.
Awesome. Well, thanks